Hello everyone, I'm Robert Hisee. Most of you will know me, but for you that don't, I'm the UK's #1 unconscious mind therapist. And welcome to the MindKite Podcast. Hello everyone, I'm Robert Hisee and welcome to the MindKite Podcast. We're here today with ex-Chelsea celebrity, Premiership player, England player, Mr. Wayne Bridge. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, mate.
Oh, and boxer, and a boxer, don't get a boxing.
average.
But yeah, so thank you for joining us, Wayne. And first of all, I'd like to just ask you about the young you. So when you grew up as a kid, whereabouts did you grow up? What was it like for you? How did football come about for you?
Well, I was born in Southampton, but I moved to Winchester when I was about 6. Not that I remember. Yeah, mum and dad just I don't know. I call them normal. I don't think they were just work. They worked hard. Dad was worked on the trains, paint and decorator.
Okay.
Mum was in
Working
between
class,
jobs,
like
working
yourself,
class.
yeah.
Yeah, we had everything
You wanted that.
we wanted, but they worked hard for it. You know,
Yeah.
we never went on holidays abroad or anything like that. It was always local, Cornwall and things like that. So we got everything we wanted as a kid. Christmases were
Was
always
it caravan
good.
holidays like myself?
Caravan holidays,
Best
caravan
holidays,
or
don't they?
tents.
Best
I remember
holidays.
when we went to Scotland and we were staying in tent and I ended up sleeping in the car. I was like, fuck that, am I sleeping in that tent? It was tipping down.
So you always wanted more out of life then?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. You know, I wouldn't have changed it for the world. Like where we grew up now, it's kind of like big houses, don't have many neighbours. It's not like going out in the street and playing with all the kids that live next door to you or up the road. I wouldn't have changed it for the world, to be honest. So for me, it was perfect.
It was fun.
For me. Yeah, it was, I was out playing football after school every day, before school. I just loved it, to be honest.
And how did it go from playing just with your mates to get into play? I think you started off at Southampton. Was it as a
Yeah, well, I started at Oliver's Battery, which is a local team in Winchester, from about, I think I was 6. But I don't think that was legal at the time. My dad must have put a fake age down or something, so I was playing a few years above.
You must have been good
I
then.
just got spotted playing for them when I was about 10 or 11.
And how did your dad? So you mentioned your dad then. So he was really supportive of your dad. He'd lead. Because I've heard this through a few Premiership players. Folks like their dads have been a big part to their success. Is your dad?
I think my mum and my dad, to be honest.
Mum and dad,
my dad just had me kicking a football from a young age.
Yeah.
Out in the garden, always playing with me whenever he could, if he wasn't working nights and things like that. And from a young age, they took me training every day and took me to the games at weekends. It was basically their weekends on a Sunday was just me playing football. Sister used to come along as well. They gave me everything I needed, really, to be honest, to get where I am.
That's brilliant. So you joined the academy?
So I got spotted, didn't join. They wanted me to drop down in year group, but I was playing with my mates at the time and I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, so that was that. And then 2 years later, I think I dropped year groups. I was still playing with friends, but they weren't the ones which lived in my area so much. The ones I went to school with, which were still friends. And then Mickey Adams played for Saints. He was Leicester manager.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was there just watching his mate's kid play, and he see me, and he went over to the manager and said, I think he basically said something along the lines, that kid's got something, I'd like to get him down to Southampton. Wow. And I think he was doing the Centre of Excellence where you go and train once a week.
Okay.
And some kids that were quite decent, the Saints had on their books. And
did you know yourself you was a bit special for the team, like above average sort of player, did you?
I wouldn't say I was big-headed. I thought I was good at football, but but
you knew that you had a bit of skill.
I had something, yeah, but I'm not stupid, do you know what I mean? I know I should be more, I don't have a lot of I never had a lot of self-confidence. I should have probably had more, but I also knew I was in a small area. Do you know, Winchester was small, it was just my school. When I went to different places or when the school entered cups and you moved around and played different schools, there's obviously kids that are good, so I didn't automatically think, I'm the best, but I knew I had something.
You knew you was good.
Yeah.
You knew you could play. And with confidence, in your sort of talking about confidence over the career, do you see a lot of because it can be the difference to make a player or break a player, can't it? You know, that sort of mindset. Do you think of being?
Yeah, definitely.
confident
Like
in
you cannot have enough confidence that you don't make it. You can be overconfident that you don't make it. You know, there's definitely a balance as well. I'm definitely not one of them players that had overconfidence.
No,
sometimes
fair.
I wish I had more because I feel like I probably could have done more. I take my hat off to those people that got so much confidence that they just walk out there and they just bowl around and they do it as well. You look at Ronaldo, just bowls around and he just does it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love to see it. It can affect people in so many different ways.
Yeah. So when you come from the young you going into the bigger leagues, how did that happen? What was your first sort of moment you thought, wow, this is something's moving here. This is going to be, it's sort of taking a real career path for you. Was there any sort of like pinnacle moments you can remember?
When I first joined, I thought, well, this is it. I've got to give it a go. But I never knew where it was going to go. Do you know what I mean? There were some decent players there, some skillful players. I thought I was always really switched on in terms of taking things on board, like positional wise and things like that, and I always worked hard. And kind of from centre of excellence, I got to sign in schoolboys for 2 years, which then you trained for. You go away school holidays and you train with the team. Wow. And I always thought I'd done all right, but there was kids out there that bowled around, a lot of confidence, and it took me a while to settle because it was new to me and I wasn't very comfortable around the people I was with, and it took time for me to grow. And even from that schoolboy, you're then got 2 years to basically prove yourself to go and get a YTS contract.
There's a lot of pressure on a kid still, isn't it? I suppose, if it's what you love, I suppose.
I feel for the kids that don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Because they spend all that time. They spend that time to do it, and then all of a sudden it's just whipped away from them.
That dream's just, that vision's just gone.
But I was nervous. I didn't know I was going to get a YTS, and it got to a stage where I wasn't sure because I wasn't playing as much. They weren't playing me, and it was like I was worried. I didn't know I was going to get it, and then they pulled me and said, "Don't worry, you've got it. You're getting a 2-year contract."
Probably why they weren't playing you when you look back now.
Yeah, they're looking at other players, really. So we just
yeah.
wanted to give everyone else a look.
Fair
we know
go.
where we're going with you. And then, I got my YTS.
How did that feel at that moment for you?
Oh, it's buzzing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
He was
buzzing.
the governor, with all the powers and that.
Do you know what? I was buzzing, but I wasn't stupid. I hadn't made it. Do you know what I mean? I still had to go and...
Do the graft.
Yeah, I think wherever I went, like from there to YTS to getting a pro contract to my next pro contract, I don't think I ever was contented. I always knew there was more money to be earned. There was a new contract to get. It's only 4 years. Do you know what I mean? You get a big injury, like you're done, really.
Yeah.
So I never ever was content with what I got. Probably until I went to Man City, got a great contract, but I still wanted to carry on. Until it got to a stage where I was fed up with football just because of shit that was going on with Man City, and I was a bit like, I could retire tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? I just got fed up.
Fed up with it all.
But other than that, I was always working hard to try and get the new contract.
So
I think with YTS, same thing happened with YTS. Wasn't playing as much.
Yeah.
But they had made their mind up. They were giving me a pro contract. I think most people in my year
How did
got
that
one.
feel when you got into the main teams, the main?
Buzzing, but scary as well. You go from...
What's it like the first time you go on the pitch when there was the crowds there? I mean, that must be a moment you must have anchored, like a big full stadium for the first time. Did you remember any?
I remember it was my debut. I wasn't having my debut. I didn't even know I was going to be on the bench. And it was the first game of the season, 98-99 season, after Michael Owen scored against Argentina. We were playing Liverpool.
Wow.
Come in. No, they named a squad of, 22 people, so you all go. I'm thinking I'm going to be left out. And then I'm on the bench, and I was just like, sat back in shock. And then John Beresford gets injured after 6 minutes, and I'm on the pitch. Just like,
what the fuck's going on here?
Do you know what? Half of it's kind of, for me, I was nervous, and butterflies and nervous, but there was no pressure on me. Do you know what I mean? I was going out and just doing what I do. I didn't think. I just went and played.
Just done what you normally do.
I believed in myself. I know I struggled with self-confidence, but once I was on the pitch and I was playing, I didn't have time. You don't have time to think. I'm my own worst enemy, and I've got time to just sit and think.
Yeah.
I'm better off just being in the moment, and that's That's what was good for me.
And how did that game go for you?
Played well, but should have scored. Created a few chances. I remember putting one in the box. Mark's used to. We lost 2-1, but I played well.
Yeah.
I felt like I was exciting. I was getting at players. Yeah. I think the only thing that let me down was not scoring. It was my final. I think I had too much time. Again, overthinking things. I got put through. I had too much time to think. I took the shot on too early. I wish I'd had more composure.
But that was the idea of learning, I suppose, looking back.
Definitely.
That comes of age, doesn't it?
Other than that, yeah, definitely comes of age, 100%.
And what was your first goal like? Who do you remember that was for, your first Premier?
Well, that was for Saints. Free kick, Wimbledon.
Brilliant.
Do you know what I mean? The players just even believing in me to take it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
with the likes
must
of
feel
Matt
great.
Oakley, who could take free kicks, Matt Lettiers, just all the people playing. So for them to just say, you hit this, they believed in me, which was
That's
great,
a confident
to be honest.
boost for your sort of thing at the time.
Yeah, massively. Like I know I struggled. I don't know if other people knew, if other players knew or anything. Do you know what I mean? I know I used to be quite a quiet lad, and it took me a while to come out of my shell. It could take me ages to come out of my shell.
Because there's two types of mindsets through studying a psychology called Myers-Briggs, and you either, and NLP as well. They often talk about this. You've got the externally referenced people, and you get internally referenced. Well, I'm externally referenced. I like to be reassured that, yeah, you've done a good job. Yeah, that was good. I asked them, what do you think of that? I like to get the feedback. Okay. Then you get internally referenced people who maybe, like me and you, might see them as confident, but it just means that they don't need validation. Yeah. They that's what I'm going to do, and they sort of just reference themselves. They don't need the... So did you notice a lot of anything like with different players? Some people just didn't care, didn't need you to say good game, and other players were like...
Yeah, definitely. There's so many in football, like different, where they would need reassuring and they don't need reassuring. They just believed in themselves. I look at Matt Lettiers. He didn't need a pat on the back, mate.
No.
Like, he just knew he could do it. Do you know what I mean? Do I think I needed a pat on the back? I know if I've played well, and also know if I've played shit. So I don't need a rollicking. Like, you can rollick me, and I'll hold my hands up like as it is, and I know I've played bad. It's always nice. I always felt good when the manager believed in me. They would come and talk to me and they'd say I was this or I'm going to do that, but I always knew if I had played well. Do you know, I didn't need them to tell me I played well. Glenn, the one who noticed my self-confidence more than anyone was Glenn Hoddle, and I didn't realise at the time until I had retired and I went to an event and he got asked a question and he brought up that because I was there, someone asked a question about me and he just said the thing with Wayne was when I got to Southampton, he had no self-confidence.
Oh, he could see that.
And I didn't know that. Do you know what I mean? He didn't believe in himself enough. And I've got all the players in the team and the players that played alongside Dean Richards to work and build him up and boost. I never knew that.
You didn't even know that?
I didn't know that.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Didn't know that till afterwards. Do you know what I mean?
How did you feel when you heard that? It's quite nice in a way.
Felt emotional. Felt emotional, if anything. Like, yeah, it was nice to hear. But I loved him. I loved him as a manager. I was gutted when he left because he had so much belief in me. He had me taking corners, free kicks.
Wow.
You know, he just believed in me really, and he, in a way, he got some of the players. The formation he set up, I know it wasn't just for me; it's for the other players, but it suited me. Like, he knew my game. You know, he was pushing for me to play for England when I hadn't played for England.
It's really interesting. Like you said, it was just spring to mind. We've done a podcast with Johnny Nelson, is a world champion, still got the world record for most
Johnny.
He's a lovely fellow.
Yeah, great guy.
The WB. What was it? WBO. I think he's got 13 defences. No one's beat the record. Still in the Guinness Book of Records. And he always talks about Brendan Ingle, and he said I was shit. He went, I was so bad that when I started, I think he said he was saying like 13. Brendan, most kids are fighting in like 6 months. He said he won't let me fight till I was 17. He said when I was sparring, people would say, "You've got to watch this kid spar. He's absolutely shit." He said, "But they went behind my back. I'll be standing there in front of my face." He said, "I was that bad," and it's hard to believe that, isn't it? And but he shows you like through Brendan Ingle the way he. What just jumped in my head, I don't know why it popped in, is the similarities of Brendan Ingle used to treat every boxer different. Yeah. And he'd bring the best out, like Nazim had that mad style with like a chicken you bounce down, and Johnny Nelson had them mad hand angles. Yeah. He'd work with them, and I think that's that's what makes a good manager. I think a good coach is someone that understands the person instead of going,
man,
well, this, you know, like you get a lot of people go, well, this is how a football player should play at midfield.
Yeah.
That's that, and it don't work. Like, look at Gazza, he fucking run everywhere. I mean, you know, it probably was manager's nightmare, but he was a fucking genius, wasn't he? You know,
it's a hard job managing people, mate. Like, I wouldn't want to do it.
No,
like, sod that. I feel like I've done the best side of the game. Like, it's difficult. Do you know what I mean? Because it's that manager be like, well, that player don't suit me. He's never going to suit me. But another manager, like, I'm going to try and get the best out of him. I can see it. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's so different.
And how was it when you got to Chelsea? That's a fucking. That must have been
another thing. I didn't really want to go. If I was honest.
Serious,
I was comfortable where I was, and I was playing good football, and I loved it. And you know, it was probably a little bit of fear and nerves and everything going to a new club.
Yes.
But to be honest, Saints were like, Gordon Strachan didn't want to let me go. He was like, and a transfer request, and he was like, his words were, I don't give a shit, you ain't going nowhere. Yeah. And I was like, oh, fair enough. And then I've got my agent in my ear saying, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. And it's, in the end, it just come down to Saints were never going to give me a new contract because Rupert Lair at the time was always like, you're too young, you don't deserve the money. And I kind of get that in a way because you get money at a young age, but also, what are you going to do when I'm old and 35 and I'm shit?
There's two ways of looking at that.
You're going to pay me loads of money. Do you know what I mean? You're not. So it is, and he was like, well, you can go because we're getting this money for you. So then, all right, I'm gone. And don't get me wrong, I look back and it was like, it was the right thing to do. You want to go win trophies, play with better players, and better yourself as well. So it was the right thing to do, but it was my confidence.
What's your favourite game would you say you had? When you got any favourite moments, magic moments at Chelsea there?
There's a few things that stand out when I think about it. Portsmouth, where I got absolutely abused for the whole game because I was a Southampton fan and like they hate each other.
Yeah, of course they do.
So I got abused. Like I played in front of the fans.
Is it funny though after you look back just? Or is
it is funny. Like there was some Portsmouth fan done a book and he wrote in the book that I was shitting myself. I was playing in front of him. I didn't care to be honest. Like, what am I shitting myself for? Do you know what I mean? Like I don't care. The only thing that bothered me is that I didn't want to make a mistake.
Yeah, just to give him the
to give me more stick. Like I scored, so I ran along and I was giving it to him in front of us. I loved it, to be honest.
Fed off it.
Especially scoring, I loved it. So there's that one. There's scoring against Arsenal in the quarterfinals.
So you scored against them. That must have been a good buzz, must have go.
Yeah. Oh, mate, loved
yours,
it.
Right?
Yeah. Loved it. A goal against Arsenal, which was quarterfinals Champions League. We threw it away afterwards, but it's a moment that stands out. And just little moments from different games where I've played well, really. Even like the game where I got took off, and it was Ashley Cole's. They signed Ashley Cole, got took off, and Ashley Cole came on, and it was like I played well that game. I thought it was an embarrassment that I even got brought off because they brought him. He was obviously going to play, but I was playing well at the time. She couldn't really drop me, and I was playing well. I'd done some moves against Charlton going forward, which I think was great. Obviously, I'm a defender, but I defended well. And I think we went 1-0 up, and then it went 1-1, and that was it. I got brought off, but like I played well that game. But, like little things, loads of little things, really. Just from little games, I've just played well, done some good things.
So emotional connections to them.
Yeah, like a cross that I put in against Fulham and Crespo, and like he scored a game that I played. I think Ashley was playing, and then he got injured, and I come and played against Charlton, and I was on fire. Crosses I was putting into the box, and like they talk about it and going, look at this for a replacement for Ashley Cole. You don't get much better. Just nice things to hear people notice it. Do you know what I mean? Because some people, if you read too much about people battering you and you're this and you're that, it can affect you. Not that it did, because once the whistle went, mate, I just forget about everything. But it could affect me while I was thinking about it. But it never affected me my ability, I don't think. I just wish I just didn't care about what people thought so much sometimes.
When you got on the pitch, did you feel like you was in a different zone? Was it just a different way of focusing?
Yeah, just didn't really think about the game.
You just straight in there.
Just like I didn't think. I just the ball come to me. I did what I did. There was no. Before the game, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to do this. But once I was there, I was like, nothing.
Just go into state.
Yeah.
So I've been working with a world champion woman, a lady boxer called Anna Rankin, and she's the most loveliest woman. They call her a geek, mucking about. Like she's a musician, put her on the pads. Her eye pupils go up. She looks like she's going to kill you. Like, and she just snaps. Even on the pads, you look at her, just go straight into state, and she comes out of it, and she's the loveliest woman in the world again. It's like, so I think like the pros do have that sort of ability to just like jump into their game, then they jump back out as if like it's.
No,
they want to be on some mad
I've
trip or
definitely
something.
got a bit of that in me. Still is in there somewhere. Yeah, definitely.
And what was that for England? That must have been. How did you find out that must have been a pinnacle moment?
Oh yeah, like
how did you
I
find
can't even
that?
remember how I found out, but I remember being at Southampton and everyone was buzzing for me. To be honest, so obviously I was happy.
What
Nervous
was it like
again.
getting on the pitch for them? Putting the kit
it's
on?
Holland. Just buzzing. I played well as well, so I was buzzing. It was my debut.
Brilliant.
I only played 45 minutes because I broke my toe. So they would just, I just leave
But
it.
that is the elite,
black.
isn't it? You can't get in the eye then playing for your country. I mean,
I think it would have been February, maybe January, February, March, near the beginning. And I got to go to the World Cup that year. So obviously, buzzing.
Absolutely.
Loved
Have you kept the t-shirt, the shirts and that?
Yeah,
on?
got all
You've
the shirts. I haven't got them up or
Oh,
anything. No, I ain't got none of my stuff up
Really?
really. Yeah, I got the memories and that. I'm not really bothered about putting it all up. I actually found my stuff I got from Chelsea or any awards that I got, Player of the Seasons and Premier League Team of the Year and stuff. I got them out the other day, and I did polish them up because I thought I've got to put them up somewhere, even if it's on the side. So I got them out. But yeah, with England, I loved it. Don't get me wrong, but then I was never going to play. I played like some qualifying games and stuff and done all right, but with tournaments, it was actually all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't mean sound ungrateful. I was a bit like, fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean?
Can imagine. Yeah, you're there.
Just waiting for him to get injured. Not that I wanted him to get injured, but I wanted to play.
Just break a toe or something. Fuck's sake. Yeah, sprain an ankle.
Come on against Argentina and stuff like that, and I come on in midfield, and there's only a few minutes, and you wanted to get the ball and beat someone and up against the net. I never
got the chances
never
you wanted.
Got the chance, you know what I mean, to go and do anything. So it's frustrating in a way, and I got a bit fed up with it just because I just wanted to play. Really,
but still, what an achievement!
Great. I look back and I'm buzzing. I've done it, but I just always wanted that.
It's always on your CV now, isn't it? Wayne Bridge played for England. It's like it's done.
It is great. It is great. And don't get me wrong, I hear people for instance, you'll bring it up and say it's great, and other people say you play for England, it's great. But also deep down inside me, the people that batter me going, well, you fucking did he Ashley Cole playing? It bothers me a little bit sometimes.
Really,
yeah. But I guess that was just me because I wanted to play more and I wasn't satisfied with it.
It's the passion.
To be honest, it's not really what they say, it's just I wasn't satisfied.
And so you always like to give you 120%, that's what you're saying basically. You're either in or you're out.
Yeah.
Was you like, because you've done a few charity boxing matches and you beat Spencer, I can't remember his last name, Matt Matthews from, is it the Chelsea?
Made in Chelsea, yeah.
And how did that feel to get into the boxing game? I mean, how did the mindset from football sort of go into boxing? Was it the same sort of devotion to your training? Did you find, was there a lot of differences?
Do you know what? I'm not saying I haven't got that killer instinct.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Yeah, I believe that to be a pro footballer, I always say this, the difference between an amateur, because you can get like a semi-pro and a pro, they can all curl the ball into, they can all do most of the same things, but I believe it's that makes it, that commitment to attacking that, and the hardness, because you've got to be hard to be that Premiership player. So I do believe that's in there 100%.
Spencer Oliver, who trained me for my first fight, he made a nice comment and he said it on a podcast. He said I could have been British champion.
Oh, wow.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. Maybe he's just being nice, but I would have loved to have done it at a young age. But also, I'm not stupid as well. What boxers go through is I don't know if I would want to the sparring, when I speak to people that talk about sparring, they don't know that sparring is like a fight.
Yeah, it is.
People don't realise. Do you know what I mean?
They think, you just tap in, like when you.
I did like it, but I guess where I never had that initial killer instinct straight away. Where he was taking me into spa and I did something, I'd say sorry. He's like, stop saying sorry.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah.
And it wasn't until
you're not playing for Chelsea. Yeah, you ain't gonna get a red card.
It wasn't until the more I did that it was like.
You know what it is? It's when you get a club, you start realising. It's when you take a few, you think that you stop saying sorry.
And I don't think until my second fight, when I went to some gyms, that it clicked a little bit. It still didn't click fully, and I think it was more. I was fighting against boxers that were better than me. They were amateurs, so that they knew what they were doing more than me. So it was hard. But
they've been doing it for their kids, haven't they?
Yeah, and also I wanted to. I wanted to perform well in terms of boxing technique. Like, I definitely improved from my first fight to my second fight, but I'd love to do loads more and improve, but I also don't want to do loads more and end up like with headaches and black eyes and
broken eye sockets
and injuries. But I loved it, and I could feel it could click for the fight. My first fight, for instance, I had that little bit of killer instinct that I was like, I'm going to hit you, so you can't hit me. And I just kept hitting him. Because the geezer was flashy. He'd swap from southpaw to orthodox, moving around a lot. And I thought, mate, I'm just going to keep hitting you so you can't hit me. I just went at it for 3 rounds. And like, I think Johnny Nelson was commentating on that. And he was like,
his work rate's
he's like a beast. Like, it just didn't stop. And then my second fight, I tried to box a little bit more. It's hard, mate. It's like, so you watch it and it's easy, like, and you can prance around the bag and move around, but getting in there is like, it's different. Game. Yeah.
And do you know how hard they hit as well? Like, when you watch it on the telly, it looks like they're just throwing a jab. If you get in a gym with a pro and see that jab on the bag, it's like your biggest. It looks like they're just throwing a couple of shots. But when that pro level of power isn't the speed, and that is,
you watch it up
scary.
close, isn't it? It's like the jabs hurt.
Proper. My mate Sam Webb, he was British champion. I remember seeing him in the gym. He was like middleweight, and he used to hit the bag and the cage. You know, he's got that technique. He used to go, and this big heavyweight are coming after. I thought, God, size of him, and hit the bag, and he wouldn't shake the frame at all, hardly. Nothing like how Sam was in it. So it shows you when you're proper trained and you can get that weight, like golf, I suppose, that weight transfer from your back foot to your front.
It's technique,
it's technique, pure technique.
I could walk into a ring and you'll probably see some guy and think, I could take him here. But mate, if he knows how to box, it don't matter how big you are. It's
true, ain't it? It don't matter if they know. It's a real like a game of chess. So they open you up and you think you're one step ahead, and they knew you was going to do that, and then they've counter punch you. It's a mad.
It's like you probably look at the size of Mayweather. Like, he's small, isn't he? And you look at me. If you didn't know who's Mayweather, you'd probably get in the ring and think you're all right, mate. But he can really smash you up.
You won't be able to touch him. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's mad.
So, what would you say for these kids? Because my little boy Louis, good little footballer, loves it, but he's on that bloody computer too much. Do you know that kids are getting a bit too?
Mate, what to say?
Because there's so much on it nowadays. I think like.
Mate, if I knew the answer to that, my kid wouldn't be on the computer all the time.
You're the same thing.
But I think, I don't know, it's
Fortnite or FIFA.
It's the way the world's gone, and social media and phones and computers. Like, mate, for me, I know I had like a Super Nintendo. I think I started off an Amstrad where the game took 40 minutes to load.
Oh, the tape one, the escape there.
I just enjoyed being outdoors all the time, whether it was raining, and it's difficult for the kids just because there's so much for them to do on the computer and online and sit there and chat to your mates. But I still like to think I would have been that kid that was still out playing all the time because I loved football. But I ain't got the answer, mate. But it's
the same for you. Your kids are the same then,
and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to push them too much either, because I feel like if someone had pushed me too much,
you'd have cracked and
been on my back, it might have worked for me. It might have, I don't know, but I don't think it would.
I think it's like this. A lot of parents go, get him off the computer, there's too much time. I just think this old iPad game and the iPhones, it's evolution. You know, if you look back at Elvis when he come out with shaking his hips, they went devil music, his sex symbol, he's disgusting. The church went mad. And now, like, Eminem's raping his own mother. Do you know what I mean? But I just think it's evolution, and I think we're going to have to go up into space one day. We know the radiation's going to get too much. Not in our lifetime, or our kids, or our great grandkids probably. But you know, it's getting closer, and one day we will have to go out. And I think it's just evolution. All this part of this computer world, this cyber world. I think it's all part of the next few hundred years. I think we're going to see some. You know, we can't predict it, but it's going to go. It's going to be crazy. Well, Branson's already made a plane, hasn't he, that goes out into space. Have you seen that?
It's just madness.
Unbelievable, wasn't it? An hour, you get Australia or something.
It's just absolutely madness. I don't like. It's hard. Like, even like you say what to say to kids. Like, it's so difficult because they're all so different. And I think there's one thing with mine is just want them to be happy. Yeah. I think too many people go into things and. Got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to be like that. You should be happy and be themselves.
Be what they want to be, find their passion.
Like, I feel like we've always talked about moving to America, me and my missus, probably just before we had kids and when we had kids. And part of me feels like I wish we had, because he had long hair. He loved his long hair, loved wearing it up. Like, he used to wear odd trainers. He used to love just wearing odd trainers, and then he's gone to school. And one day he came over and said, "Oh, can I cut my hair?" And I'm thinking, well, someone said something to him.
Yeah.
Whether it was a teacher or a kid. And then didn't want to wear odd trainers anymore and just wants to wear this and wants to wear that. I feel like
it's
just
being
conforming.
pushed into.
I feel like if we had gone
yourself.
to America, you wear whatever you want, you kind of do what you want. Like, there's ups and downs to it. Both.
I'm the same as you. California's a big dream of mine. I'll end up there one day. That's my spot.
I'm not sure if I will. I wish we'd already done it, but it's you never say never. Just don't know.
So throughout the career, what would be the thing when you'd go? A lot of people call going in yourself when you get down in life, and everyone gets it each, month by month. What would be your thing that pull you back out and make sure you still went forward? What was your vision for to move forward? What was always your goal? What drove you getting out of bed and training still? Because like a lot of people say, I feel great today, I'm going to get up and go for a run. But them fucking days don't really come, do they? You don't feel like you look forward to getting up and training. I mean, what would you say
from a young age, it was just I always wanted to be a footballer and you always had to be fit. So I just worked hard at it. Just worked hard at my fitness. Even off season, I'd go. There was probably people that I thought people would go out running all the time, and just thought even if they were 14, 15, it's what they did.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't, but that's what I did. I thought they're doing it, I'm doing it. And I probably was always one of the fittest, but I never really thought back then I was the fittest because I was putting in all that extra work. It's just what I did.
It's just what you've done. It's just
got up, off season. I'd run.
And what would make you want to get up and run
6-7
6-7 miles still at that time?
Just wanted to be a footballer, and don't get me wrong, you've got to practice your skills as well. But part of my game was I was a winger. I was quick.
So you have to be. But
I'd also help out. I wasn't one of them that give me the ball, I'd do a little bit and then forget about going back. I was up and down, constantly, always helping my fullback. I just had the energy to keep going, and obviously that's what helped me at a left back, because that attacking left back has just happened around my era, that you'd always be attacking, getting up and down and defend at the same, and I had that ability to do it. It's just one of them things that I worked hard,
yeah.
Just one of them things, just
that's
always.
Good.
And I think.
But what I notice is that you've got to have a goal to work hard, because I think that's what a lot of people don't see. They don't see like if you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, he says his goal was he used to look at the body he wanted in his head, so he'd see where he wanted to get to, and he said that's what. He said the body's important, but the mind's more important than the body, because that's what makes you want to work out to 4 or 5 hours a day. It makes you want to get up and go for a run. It's the faults.
The faults, yeah. Obviously, the only faults I would have had in my head was one, I wanted to play, and I wanted to be a professional footballer, and I wanted to play well, because you want the fans to be happy with you at the end of the day. Wanted to make my dad happy and my mum and dad proud of me. My dad was a Saints fan.
Be the best in yourself.
Just be the best I can, really. Don't get wrong, there was times in my career where I probably could have done more of it. I wasn't perfect, do you know what I mean? But definitely, I think Glenn Hoddle brought in visualisation stuff at Southampton.
And what sort of era was? What sort of year was this?
I can't remember what year that. When would he have? I can't remember the year. It was early days for me, because obviously I was only pro at Southampton for
late 90s sort of thing. Yeah?
Probably 4 years, late 90s. Yeah, after 98, it would have been after 98 World Cup, so early 2000. And what would
he do with people? What would the sort of techniques be? Wayne?
Well, you'd have midfielders, strikers, and back four. So the back four would have a meeting together. And in football, this bit of the class got fucked off by a lot of the lads, to be honest, because you'd have a guy coming in and go, well, what do you want from him? And us sat in here talking about that as footballers, mate, we used to just take the piss, to be honest.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I think that was the manly part about it, rather than being really honest with each other.
Yeah.
And again, that was with certain people being really confident and being like, fuck this. And I remember one of the women had a breakdown. She couldn't handle it anymore, because the lads used to take the piss. And she stopped coming in. And then there's one guy who got in called John Sire, who carried it on. He dealt with it well with the lads that just really went into it, and it was just a bit too macho for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's only the last. I say the last 3 to 5 years that people are starting to actually look at, because there's a part of the brain called the reticular activating system. It's a group of neurons at the bottom of the brain that works as a filtering system. So this proves what visualization can do. Now we've got a science, but before then, and for hundreds of years before then, you know, we've been using it, but no one had any real proof, you know. So people go, it's a load of bollocks, it's fucking visualizing. What, you got to visualize holiday? What you fucking, you know, they mock it, but when actually now what we see is on a brain scan is the reticular activating system. You can program yourself to feel like a Premiership player before you actually become it. Now, ain't you going to be aware of it, but it's what you think about you become. It's the oldest proverb of all time. So, for instance, the RAS system only notices what you're interested in. It starts to generate information for you. So, say for instance, when you had your first child, did you have a boy or girl, your first child, Wayne?
Boy. A
boy. So when you had your first child, all of a sudden you see fucking prams everywhere. Yeah. Everyone seems like everyone's pregnant. Your mum would go, Wayne, I bumped into Julie. No, you went to school with? Well, her sisters, cousins, aunts, mums had twins. Must be something in the water, isn't it? Like everyone's noticing it. And then now your kids get to 15 or something, you don't see babies. I used to see fucking women breastfeeding everywhere. I don't know. Every time I had a kid, I'd be out shopping and I'd be like, fucking put that away, it's disgusting. I ain't seen women breastfeed for years. They're probably sitting right next to me, but I don't see them no more because I'm not interested in babies. Or when you buy a motor, you look for a motor and everywhere you go, you see it, and you get it. That's the RAS system. So it focuses on what you want, but it also focuses on what you don't want. It doesn't know what you want or don't want. It just understands what you focus on most of the time. It will generate the information for you to become it. So the visualization thing, what would have happened with a lot of, especially young players and stuff, which I can imagine, without showing them a proof and showing them something that they can go, oh fuck me, like, damn, okay, that's fucking all of a sudden it drops that you know, like that. I suppose like the law of attraction, a way of looking at it. Or is it real, ain't it real? Is there energy, ain't there energy? That sort of thing. So I think nowadays, over the last 5 years, there's a lot more science to back it up, where I think it may be able to get taken a little bit more, where it is getting taken more seriously now.
I think a lot of players have took it seriously through my career. Visualization, you probably just haven't heard about it, I reckon. Because I'd done the visualization technique on my own with the guy that Glenn brought in. Yeah. Where it's a bit like a meditation. You'd be closing your eyes, going into a breathe in. Then you'd visualise yourself walking out into the stadium, you know, get you talking about the grass, what it was like, the football, you know, the kick-off, like when the ball first comes to you, what are you going to do with it? Then you'd visualise 5-6 different things that you would do during that game. It sounds stupid, I know, but
no, it don't.
Did it to certain people? It will. Did it help? Probably, because I was playing well. Do you know what I mean? So I was playing well. So did it help? Probably. And I know one player that definitely did it was Didier Drogba.
There you go, he's a legend,
and I ain't being funny. He done everything or won everything and scored in probably every cup final there was to score in.
Most elite players I spoke to, like I said, I don't know him, but I had a drink with him for a few hours in Portugal, Peter Crouch, and I mentioned visualisation to him, and he said when he was about 14, he was in someone come in, like you said, they come in and done actually, they said they didn't do visualisation. He said they just writ down, where do you want to be in the years, 3 years and 10 years, or something like 5 years and 10 years. He said, I writ them all down. He said, but I never kept the paper. He said, I remembered it. And he said, I visualised playing things, I visualised playing for these teams, I visualised doing this stuff. And he said, I've done it since I was 14. He said, I never had a girlfriend until I was 23. He said, I wasn't bothered. So all I'd done was play football. And he said, I visualised every single day. He said, no one taught me, I just remembered what I put. And he said, every single thing come true. Even playing for England, he went every single, not one of them by a pass.
I've done it in two different aspects of my life. One, I've done it when I first learned it. I visualised winning the lottery, but it never happened.
Well, you have in a way, bro.
No, not what you mean.
Beggars can't be choosers.
I just thought, let's see if this stuff really works for that. But
he pulls out in his bed.
That was just
that
was before. I'd give it a go, see what happens. But yeah, since I've done it on snow holidays, because I used to get. I took up snowboarding, and
you have to visualise your next turn, even if it's as little as that.
It was I got to learning freestyle. Like when I say freestyle, believe me, I'm not very good. But like we were going off little kickers, and it was doing 180s, front threes, back for like 360s, and I'd sit there, and before I'd go down the jump, I'd close my eyes and just visualise myself doing it before I'd do it. And the teacher didn't go on visualise before you go. She used to get used to me doing it, and she used to tell me to do it.
And you've done it.
Yeah, I used to do that with snowboarding. Yeah.
So this is and sometimes in life you do it consciously, and you've probably done it in football without even realising, because everything gets made twice, yeah? So I'll give you a little game here, right, just to show you the proof of this. Look around this room now. See if you can... When I mean made twice, by the way, let me get this right. First, it was created as a thought inside the mind.
I've seen you say this.
You've seen it,
I've actually seen it.
Oh, you've seen it.
So
you know the answer.
Yeah.
So you've had a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you see what I mean? Everything in this room you're looking at,
it's been thought
created
of
as a thought.
created,
It got made twice.
Yeah.
Even the clothes you put on, you have to think about putting on. So
and people are always creating, and I sit there sometimes. It's like the shoelace, and I can't remember where I see it. I've seen it on a film. It's the little plastic things around your shoelace. Someone created that. Do you know what I mean? There's loads of stuff.
Yeah, mad little stuff.
I always sit and try and create something.
Or the eyes,
think
the cat eyes in the road. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's probably this. You could probably think of something that it's not worth doing, and then someone will end up doing it years down the line. You think, I thought that years ago.
That's exactly what it is.
It's mad, really.
Yeah, the ideas out there. It's unbelievable. Like, I've got an app coming out soon. We've named the podcast after it, MindKite. My business partner, but it weren't my vision. He come to me with it, and I couldn't even. He went to me like, "Do you want to come in on it?" Blah blah. I couldn't talk. I couldn't ring him back for about 2 months because it's done my fucking head. And I thought, why didn't I think of it? Because the idea it happens, the mental health, helping people, having a wall, putting everything in there from fitness to yoga to mind therapy, and I couldn't get it out of my head. I thought, why not? It's so fucking.
I think sometimes
simple, and
as well.
Do you know what?
Like,
it is going to be the best
sometimes
about it.
believing in yourself, and like rather than. Because you can sit there and go, I might do this, I might do that, and you'll think too much about the negative things and think, oh no, there's no point, it's not worth doing. Then someone else
That's the fucking academic intelligence. Academic intelligence at school teaches us how not to make mistakes. So you said you're a little boy, you give me a 7-year-old kid, right, what do you want to be? I want to be a footballer, I want to be a marsh, I want to be a fucking alien, I want to own an ice cream van, my little boy used to say. Give me an 18-year-old. What do you want to be? Oh, I don't know. They're shitting themselves. We've gone through that. The way the schooling system teaches us is how not to make mistakes, how not to fuck up our life, how not to do the wrong choices. So then people every day get these £1 million ideas in their head, and they can see a vision, and they feel good, and they open their eyes, and they question it. How are they going to get there? That's the worst thing people can do.
It's worse because like I can be quite bad in terms of believing in myself. But then I come up. If I speak to someone about it and they have the negative effect on it, I just think, oh, fuck. They can actually ruin your
dream,
ruin your thing about this can happen. It's just like...
So true. Just bring you down.
It's surrounding yourself with the right people who believe in you. Like my missus.
This is why visualisation is so important, Wayne, because when you visualise it every day, what will happen? The neural pathway starts to build. So when you visualise, this is science as well, when you visualise, a little neural pathway lights up. And when you stop visualising, it slowly wears off. And then under a brain scan, any human being every human being ever been studied does the brain has the same reaction. Then you visualise the same thing again. It takes a fraction of a second longer the second time to wear off. Then the third time. So you keep seeing the same image. In the end, after about 30 days, this neural pathway lights up. And then when we put you under the brain scan, it's already there. It's part of who you are now. So now you've stored it as a memory, and you start to feel like what you've created. So by creating these visualizations, you're actually installing the software, and then it runs as like a software program. You know, you start to feel like a Premiership player. Like Mohamed Ali, for instance, when he was 12 years old, he said, I used to visualise. He said, when I got in the ring, there weren't no tellies. He said, I'll tell you a bit, I'll be visualising skipping. I'll be seeing myself as a world champion, knocking people out, holding up the belt. You know, I'll go out running for 2 hours, be holding up the belt, knocking people out, and when he was 18, he wins the Olympics, he says, I'm the greatest, I'm the next heavyweight champion in the world, because he created the neuro connections in his brain that he felt like a world champion. And that's when you speak like one. Like Conor McGregor, if you listen to him, he's massive. He trained himself to be like Muhammad Ali with the visualization and the law of attraction he uses and stuff. But the good thing with the science behind it is we actually build these pathways that creates that emotion. And the biggest learning I think I've ever learned that people should really listen to is you can only think how you feel. So see, like you said, I feel unconfident. When someone's brought you down, they put you in that, your brain's going to check you in the body and go, you ain't going to do that, you're going to fuck up, you mug yourself off, you're going to look alright, don't do it. So when you're visualising, you're programming your confidence. But it don't happen now. So when you visualise yourself long enough and someone goes to you, Wayne, listen, mate, how you going to lose all your money? You're stupid. You go, when you visualise it and that feeling's there, that pathway, you'll go, fuck, I ain't asking you, I'm telling you, I'm going to do it. And they look at you as if you're nuts. Like most successful people go like, you're fucking off your head, don't you?
I noticed a massive difference in even my missus, everyone did, to be honest, when I come out, I done the SS Who Dares Win show. And
what was that like? Bloody hell.
I come out of it just more, I that sounds stupid, in love with yourself, just more appreciating, is that right, appreciating myself, do you know, and just like, I am who I am. And do you know, if you don't like it, then it's just
tough.
being yourself. And do you know, I'm learning that at 38 years old.
Mate, that's all.
I should have been learning that when I was younger. Do you know what I mean? I am who I am. I'm not a bad person. I might have pissed people off. Might have done things wrong, but fucking so does everyone.
That's exactly life.
And it's like I did come out of it more confident, and I do notice sometimes when I say things.
Can you explain what confident means to you? Because confident means to me comfortable in your own skin. That's what confidence is.
I've got more comfortable. I'm not 100%, but I've got more comfortable since that. And then I can't remember what there was. Speaking about the show, and ever since I've done the show, like other people have done it, and they all say, they've ramped it up since you've done it, and it's harder. And I've said things to them, and I think to myself, I shouldn't say that. And I've said things like, I've said, well, I'll smash it anyway.
Yeah, why should
you know, that's me believing in myself. Don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid.
You know it's going to be.
I know that if they have upped it, it's going to be harder. And part of me I will train hard for it, and I'm not stupid to think it's going to be a piece of piss either. But then people have said that to me, and then I've asked people to actually run the show, and we fucking made it easy because they can't do it.
Seriously?
Because they use it. And that's them sitting at home thinking, watch it on telly, and not realising it ain't just what you see on telly. It's a lot harder than what you see on telly. But I went into that show, and people would go, you're fit and you're this. But I go into that show thinking, this is going to be hard. I hope I can get to the end of this. But there's people going into it going, I'll get to the end of this piece of piss. Because they're blind. They just don't get that. They don't get it. Like you got to.
They think it's that little half-hour telly.
I never. And don't get me wrong, I'm not. I'm never going to think I'm the smartest in the room. I'm never going to think I'm the fittest in the room. But that's probably where I get a lot of my work ethic from. I'll work hard. Yeah. But I also like to work hard at. I've got a good work ethic. Yeah. I was rubbish at school. Didn't enjoy school.
You make me tired on your Instagram and watch you on there. I think, fuck yeah, he's done another workout. You don't stop.
I'll work hard. I've got good work ethic from my parents. So, if it was washing a car, I know how to wash a car. I can wash a car. So I'm going to make sure I do a good job. So I've got good work ethic.
Yeah, you've got a level. You've got a higher standard.
Struggled at school just because I swear I've got a brain like a sieve sometimes. And I didn't enjoy it either. I didn't enjoy it. I like to do stuff I enjoy.
That is what's important, isn't it? And look at the success you've had from doing things you enjoy. You know?
Yeah, I want my kids to do something they enjoy rather than something they feel like they have to do.
Yeah. I mean, my oldest boy, I tried him with so many sports he likes, but he's like me. He took to music. I've got him a guitar 3 weeks ago. He's playing guitar solos. And now I can't get him out of the room. And he's happy all the time. He's gone from... They turned into that Kevin and Perry from being like, you right, boy? Yeah. How's school, all right? Yeah. I was like,
I don't get nothing.
I felt like strangling him. I thought, what's happened to him? You're getting rude, you. He goes, what? I've said yeah. And all of a sudden, he's found music. He don't shut up.
Yeah, it's good when they find something to talk about. Like
I'm so glad
my kids,
he had.
I last what they did at school, can't remember. What'd you have for lunch?
Yeah,
can't remember.
I'm
like,
what do you mean you can't remember?
But then my youngest to find a subject he liked, like he loves animals, like he loves talking about sharks, animals.
Then that's it, like, you can't shut him up.
We went on holiday to Antigua, we went out on a kayak, find different islands and go hunting for different animals, and he talks and he loves it, and it's great, like, because you get to have like proper conversations with them and they're interested in it.
This is exactly
otherwise we're trying to drag stuff out of them all the time.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was, It done my nutting for about 3-5 months now, and then so it's like a relief that he's found something he enjoys, you know.
That's great.
The other one's football crazy, like, you know, he's a Chelsea fan, he's little Louis nuts, and the little one's just into anything. Computer gamer, little gamer. Yeah. But yeah, it's mad though. And the other one's 23, so they're all grown up now, but they do your nutting, don't they?
It's the best thing in the world, isn't it? But I never thought I'd worry so much.
No,
I try not to.
You don't get better either. My oldest one's 23, worries me more than the other three. Do you know what I mean? But it is. You never. Thinking about having kids, I don't think people think about is that they do grow up. Now he's got a beard and I look and think, what the fuck? How's that come out? This big hairy thing, like
I can't imagine.
It's like this little kid running around playing with toys. Next thing you know, fucking. He's a geezer.
Just makes you realise how quick time goes as well. It's like you've got to appreciate and try and do something you enjoy and do it, and don't let people tell you any different.
So I think that's a good message for today, everyone. Make sure you find something you enjoy doing, and be true to your core purpose. That if you feels good, and this is what I'm saying about you can only think how you feel. That's where the confidence comes in. Something makes you feel good. Your brain checks and goes, yeah, this feels great. You can do this, that. You want some more of that. You've done that really good. You're the bollocks. You're red hot at football. Yeah. But it's only, as I say, you can only think how you feel. If someone feels sad, it makes sad thoughts. There's never been a human being in 2 million years while experiencing emotion of anxiety. someone that can't make an anxious thought. So do what you feel. But
yeah.
Wayne, I want to thank you so much, mate.
No,
it's been a
thanks,
real
mate.
pleasure having you here.
No,
I know you're a busy guy, and
hope
it means a
everyone
lot.
enjoyed
so
it.
Yeah, mate, it was brilliant. It was very insightful and very interesting. So I appreciate it so much.
No problem.
So we were here at the Class UFC gym in Woking. So if you're local, get yourself down here. We'll do some great classes after lockdown, of course. And we'll see you next week at the MindKite Podcast. Thank you very much, and thank you to Wayne again, mate.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. See you later, guys.